Hi, welcome to Sue Marie P. My name's Sue. Today I'm going to share a buckwheat flour cake or buckwheat flour banana bread with dates and walnuts. It's got no dairy, no eggs, no refined sugar. I'm using what's called a date syrup, but you can add your preferred alternate sweetener. So in this large bowl, I'm going to grab my buckwheat flour. Oh, before I started filming, I've just popped my oven onto 170 degrees Celsius with a fan, and I'll pop some other measurements or temperatures above. So I'm going to pop in 250 grams of buckwheat flour. I've got 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda or bicarb soda, and 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm going to add a little bit of spice. I've got 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, ground cinnamon, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. That's optional. You can mix and match whatever spices you like. Just going to whisk that together. Now, I haven't tested this with any other flour. I just wanted to make another buckwheat recipe for my buckwheat fans out there. Pop that to one side. I'm going to grab that bowl back, and I've got 3 kind of small to medium bananas. Just going to peel and mash them. Ideally, it's good to have really ripe bananas, but these ones aren't too ripe today. While we're waiting, I'm just going to squeeze in some lemon juice just to stop that going brown. So that's about a tablespoon. That'll also help with when the acid activates against the baking soda to help make the cake light. In this jug here, you can probably see I've added 60 mils of vegetable oil or rapeseed oil, and in there I've got some date syrup. I've got 125 grams or 1/3 cup of this date syrup, but as I said, you can swap it out for honey, maple syrup, agave nectar, monk fruit sweetener. This is just what I could find in the supermarket here, so I've added that in. Now I'm going to pour in that mixture. So this is the oil date syrup mixture. So the date sweetener, the date syrup is my sweetener, and if that's not important, you could probably swap this out. I haven't tried it, but for like brown sugar or something like that. I'm going to add in the banana. In here, I've got 6 whole chopped dates that I've taken the seeds out. I'm going to throw them in as well. That just added a really nice extra texture and a little bit of extra sweetener. And dates are wonderful. They're high in fibre as well, and I find them kind of a good natural sweetener. Now, if you've got more bananas to use up, add an extra banana in. But what I like to do, because it's a little bit dry, I add 4 tablespoons of oat milk, or you can use your preferred plant-based milk, and that just gives it a bit more moisture. Just mix that until you don't see any flour. But just before we finish mixing it, I've got some walnuts here that I've pre-toasted just in a little fry pan before we started filming, and I've chopped them up. So that's 1/2 cup, but I'm going to leave a few just for the top to decorate. And that's optional. You can leave the walnuts out if you're not into walnuts or you want to make it nut-free. And this buckwheat cake is also gluten-free. And yeah, it's vegan as well because I haven't used any dairy or animal products. This is a nice healthier banana bread. So I've got a little loaf tin here which I've greased with some butter and lined it with some paper. So I'm just going to pour all the batter in. And as you notice, it's quite a thick batter. Now just before we bake it, I'm going to sprinkle some of these extra walnuts on top. A few taps in case there's any air bubbles. I'm going to bake this in my warm oven, which is at 170 degrees fan preheated, for about 35 to 40 minutes. So my buckwheat banana bread is cooked. I've checked it with the skewer, so I've popped that in and it comes out clean. I need to let this sit for about an hour before I slice it, and I'll pop back and do a taste test. So back with my buckwheat banana bread, and I'm going to have a little taste. It's still warm, and I just bit into a nice moist piece of date. And I've got, because I didn't mash my bananas too fine, I've got some chunks of banana. I popped some photos above to have a look at the texture, but I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can have a look. So you can see banana chunks, dates, and the walnuts. Now, what I've found with this cake, it actually gets better with age. Yeah, the last time I made it, I think by day two or day three it actually got better. It tasted more moist, I think, with all the the fruit and everything, it just gets better with age. So if you can leave it and don't eat it on day one, eat it the next day, it's even better. I hope you've enjoyed my gluten-free buckwheat flour banana bread. Slightly healthier. Let me know in the comments below. I'll try and do more like this. I'm kind of experimenting with new recipes all the time. And I'll pop a few other buckwheat ideas up above. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.